Welcome back. I'm Soudy Khan, Director of User Experience at Neuron, and today we're going to continue on to the 5th and 6th chapters or pieces to your UX architectural guide. They are state screens and flows. So a state screen is essentially a key screen. You know, if you're doing a website, maybe it's the home page. If you have commerce, maybe it's the search results page or a product page. And then when you talk about a flow, all you're really doing is you're stitching a series of state screens together to map out a particular scenario. So that might be like the checkout process. You might stitch together 5 state screens that sort of go from, the beginning asking for shipping information through credit card information, through confirmation, and so on. And that's basically it. There are a few things to remember. Typically, these are done as wireframes. So we're talking about relatively lightweight from a graphical perspective. We haven't really added real graphics, so that there are some rules with wireframes. Typically, they're black and white. You might use different weights of lines. Say, for example, 0.5 point up to, say, 2 points in increments. And we do that for different things like maybe defining the border, the outside box, the bounding box of a page. That might be in 2 point, and then you might have thinner things for subsections and even thinner lines for smaller components. If we look at a very simple example, let's take a website, for example, which is pretty basic, maybe nothing too complex. You are going to have some main pieces. So the first thing you're going to do in creating your wireframe or your state screen, just remember you've already got all the features listed out. You have the sitemap, you know where this page belongs, you know what you have to have on this page because you've listed out all your features. So in the example of a simple website, you might have in the masthead area, which is at the top, right below that, the top level navigation, then the content window in the middle, a bottom level navigation where things like about us or contact or privacy policy might go, and then a footer for things like copyright information. On that page, you're creating specific components and elements like a button or a search field or a link that actually create the affordance for the user to be able to do something like read about this company or read the press release or look at the careers. So that's basically it. Some other tips that I'll give you, and of course, you really need to look at the 4 examples we've given online here of complete UX architectural guides because there's so much more detail. But some tips I would say is remember that you want to create the minimal set of components to build your user experience. If, for example, you create a button, if you can use that button again, don't create a new button. Call that button standard button 1 and recycle that button. If you have a back button and maybe it has a pointed left arrow on one side, call that left arrow button and recycle that button again. So you kind of want to create the minimal set of building blocks to create your user experience. I hope that helps. And again, take a look at the examples we have online. Thanks for watching.